Today we are exploring one of the most fascinating subjects you may have never fully understood: Yakuza, video game. What you are about to hear goes far beyond the surface. This is the full story. Yakuza is a 2005 action-adventure game developed and published by Sega for the PlayStation 2. It was released in December 2005 in Japan and in September 2006 internationally. The story follows Kazuma Kiryu, a Yakuza who spent 10 years in prison for a crime he did not commit. After being released, he learns that the criminal underworld is searching for 10 billion yen that has been stolen from the Tojo clan. The game takes place in Kamuro, a realistic recreation of Tokyo's Kabukicho district. Yakuza takes place in an open world and makes use of role-playing elements. The player gains experience from combat which is used to improve Kiryu's fighting capabilities. In order to finance the game's expensive production, Sega contracted a tie-in campaign with famous Japanese companies. A sequel, Yakuza 2, was released in Japan in 2006. The game, along with its sequel, received an HD remaster, released in Japan in 2012. A remake titled Yakuza Kiwami was released for PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 in 2016, and later ported to Windows, Xbox One and Nintendo Switch. Critical reception was generally positive, its presentation and story were praised while its controls and mechanics were criticized. Yakuza was a commercial success and sold over 1 million units on PS2. Its success led to an ongoing franchise, now renamed Like a Dragon internationally. Yakuza is a third-person open-world action-adventure game where the player controls Kazuma Kiryu in the city of Kamuro. The game also utilizes fixed camera system and incorporates role-playing elements. With the experience gained from combat, the player can level up Kiryu's attributes and increase his fighting capabilities in order to perform heat actions which greatly damage his enemies. Yakuza utilizes quick-time events during the fights. While Kamuro's map shows the linear path to continue the main story, the player may take on missions and side quests found around the city. The game is composed of 3 interconnected modes called Event, Adventure, and Battle. In encounter battles, the player randomly encounters foes. Winning these battles nets some cash, which can be used to purchase equipment or healing items. Items can be bought in shops based on real-life stores and are divided into multiple real companies. This changed everything that came after it. The battle mode includes the underground arena, which is located in Kamuro's Purgatory area. Cutscenes are enabled after completing specific actions or beating a certain character during the adventure mode. They also introduce the chapter's objectives. Various minigames are available within adventure mode in the form of arcade machines scattered throughout the game world. These include a claw crane, a batting cage, a casino, baccarat, card game, blackjack and roulette, toba, and pacha-slot. The game follows the story of Kazuma Kiryu, Daryl Kirilo Takaya Kuroda, a Yakuza whose life changes when his boss, Sohei Dojima, attempts to rape Kiryu's childhood friend, Yumi Sawamura, Eliza Dashkua Mayako Yusaka. When Dojima is murdered by Kiryu's best friend and fellow Yakuza, Akira Nishikiyama, Michael Rosenbaum and Kazuhiro Nakaya, Kiryu accepts blame for the murder, and is imprisoned for 10 years. During his incarceration, Kiryu is expelled from his organization, the Tojo clan, and Yumi goes missing. After his release, he learns that 10 billion yen has been stolen from the Tojo clan's private bank, and that the entire Japanese underworld is now searching for the lost wealth. Kiryu asks his former captain and adopted father, Shintaro Kazama, Roger L. Jackson Tetsuya Watari, about Yumi's disappearance, but Nishikiyama, who now controls his own gang, shoots Kazama after he reveals that Yumi was connected to the lost money. Kiryu manages to escape from the Tojo, who now regard him as an enemy and put a contract out on his life. His escape is aided by a detective named Makoto Date, Bill Farmer Kazuhiro Yamaji, who had been investigating Kiryu ever since the death of Dojima, and is now investigating the murder of third chairman Masaru Sera, Alan Dale Ruji Mizuki, the former Tojo clan leader whose death has triggered a war between Kazama, Nishikiyama, and an ambitious Yakuza boss, Futoshi Shimano, Michael Madsen and Naomi Kusumi. In his search for Yumi, Kiryu finds an orphan named Haruka Sawamura, Debbie Deriberi Rikujimiya, who is searching for her mother, Mizuki, who Date identifies as Yumi's younger sister. Haruka is also targeted by the Yakuza, who believe that her pendant, which Yumi gave to her for safekeeping, is the key to the missing 10 billion. Kazuma is forced to protect her from not just Shimano and Nishikiyama, but also Goro Majima, Mark Hamill's Hidenori Agaki, Shimano's sadomasochistic lieutenant, as well as the Omi Alliance, a rival Yakuza organization, the Snake Flower Triad, led by Kiryu's old enemy Lao Kei Long, James Horan Shinichi Takizawa, and the MIA, a mysterious group with ties to the Japanese government. Eventually, Kiryu learns from Kazama that Haruka is actually Yumi's daughter, and that Mizuki is Yumi under an assumed identity. Yumi suffered amnesia after she was attacked by Dojima, but recovered and married Kyohei Jingu, Robin Aki Down's Hirooki Yoshida, an ambitious politician who allied himself with Seiya. After accidentally killing a journalist who had tried to blackmail him with evidence that he committed adultery, Jingu asked Seiya to have Yumi and Haruka murdered. Kazama saved the pair and persuaded Seiya to turn on Jingu, having learned that the latter was using the clan to launder 10 billion yen for his own purposes. It is then revealed that Kazama, Yumi, and Seiya robbed the 10 billion yen so that Jingu wouldn't use it to bribe the clan. Shimano ambushes them but Kiryu defeats him. However, Shimano mortally wounds Kazama with a grenade and his ally, Omi Alliance Lieutenant Yukio Toroda, Greg Berger Kenji Nomure, then shoots him dead in revenge. Before dying, Kazama confesses to Kiryu that he killed his parents when he was young and that he in fact operated the sunflower orphanage Kiryu grew up in. Few people realize just how significant this is. Armed with the knowledge of the money's location, Kiryu and Haruka head to Millennium Tower, where they meet Yumi, who has recovered her memories and now intends to destroy the money with a bomb. Jingu arrives with the MIA and the Omi Alliance, revealing his newfound interest in bribing the Omi Alliance instead of the Tojo clan. Kiryu subdues him and his men, but Nishikiyama, revealed to be cooperating with Jingu after the latter bribed him, arrives to challenge Kiryu and take the money for himself. Kiryu defeats him. Jingu appears and shoots Yumi before a remorseful Nishikiyama stabs him and detonates the bomb by shooting at it, killing them both and destroying the entire floor in the process. Yumi then dies in Kiryu's arms, and with her, Nishiki and Kazama now dead, Kiryu decides to return to prison, but Date talks him out of it by reminding him that he is the only one who can take care of Haruka now. The Tojo clan asks Kiryu to assume the role of fourth chairman in accordance with Seiya's will, to which Kiryu complies but he retires instead mere hours later and names Toroda as the new chairman to rebuild the clan. The story ends with Kiryu beginning a new life as a civilian with Haruka as his newly adopted daughter. The Ringa Gotoku and Ringa Gotoku 2 original soundtrack, HCV 287, dual-disc box set was published by Wave Master in Japan on January 25, 2007. The music was composed by Hidenori Shoji, Seichio Ogawa, Keitaro Haneda, Fumio Ito, Yuri Fukuda. The closing theme is John Newton's rendition of Amazing Grace, a classic hymn sung in English by Ei Kawai. Additional performers are Markoch, vocals, Yuri, chorus, and Tomika, chorus. As part of the pre-ordering campaign, the Japanese first edition was bundled with 2 limited items, a Tojo clan lapel pin replica, Tokasei pin baji, lit. Deluxe pin badge, and a monography called Kamutai Magazine, December 2005 issue. The original PlayStation 2 The Best Edition, SLPM 74234, included a bonus DVD with the trailer of Yakuza 2, while the reprint, SLPM 74253, which was released during the production of the spin-off was repackaged with a rose cover art instead of white, aka Repackage Han lit. Repackage edition, and a bonus DVD with the trailer of Ringa Gotoku Kenzen, a voice cast message and a 20-minute producer interview. There were no special editions of the game released outside Japan, but Sega Europe and America did use online marketing. A flash game, CodeYakuza.com, was created, and an English subtitled version of the game's 2006 live-action adaptation directed by Takashi Miike, Like a Dragon, Prologue, was freely downloadable on the game's official website. On November 1, 2012, a PlayStation 3 HD remaster of the Japanese original version of Yakuza and Yakuza 2 titled Ringa Gotoku 1 and 2 HD Edition, Japanese, 1 and 2 HD Edition, lit. Like a Dragon 1 and 2 HD Edition, was released in Japan. This HD edition features both game remasters bundled in a single Blu-ray disc and later as a downloadable title on the Japanese PlayStation Store. And yet, this is only part of the picture. On December 11, 2014, this HD edition was re-released in the budget-ranged PlayStation 3 The Best, dedicated to bestsellers on the Japanese domestic market. Simultaneously to this Blu-ray re-release, an 18.1 GB downloadable version was also made available for purchase on the Japanese PlayStation Store. The HD edition was later released for Wii U on August 8, 2013 in Japan. This Wii U release is notable for being the first port of the PlayStation-exclusive Yakuza series on a non-Sony platform. According to Toshihiro Nagoshi, Ringa Gotoku was successful because there were only a few titles which directly portray original Japanese culture. Also, there is no other title which attempts to represent such a Japanese worldview with a big-budget title. The game was also recognized for excellence in the 2007 Japan Game Awards. A sequel, titled Yakuza 2, was released in Japan on December 7, 2006, Sega promising an improved fighting system and further exploration. Nagoshi commented on some of his goals with Yakuza 2 being providing a deeper dramatic storyline over what was found in the original. The game also has some themes that were not in the original, including an adult love story. A remake of Yakuza, titled Yakuza, Kiwami, was released on January 21, 2016 in Japan for PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. Kiwami improved the resolution, frame rate, textures, and loading times compared to the original game, and additional content was added to resolve some of the more confusing plot points and establish connections to the prequel title Yakuza 0. Yakuza was the first and, until the release of Judgment, only game in the series to feature an English dub. The original game's localization and English dub, and the lack of Japanese audio as an option, has been retrospectively highlighted by critics as a perceived flaw of the game's original Western release. In particular, the dub has been criticized for the perceived poor quality of its voice acting, and the excessive use of profanity in its script, which was seen by some as an inappropriate attempt to appeal to the Western market. An unofficial undub patch, which also revised the game's English script, was created by a fan as a result of the English dub's poor reception. What followed was equally astonishing. In 2006, Tokishi Miyasaka directed a prequel titled Like a Dragon, Prologue, Ringa Gotoku Joshu, with mixed martial artist and Purorisu wrestler Masakatsu Funaki as Kazuma Kiryu. A film adaptation titled Like a Dragon, Ringa Gotoku, Gakijiban, was directed by Takashi Miike in 2007. Kazuma Kiryu's role is played by actor Kazuki Kitamura, known outside of Japan for his roles in Shoei Imamura's The Eel, Takashi Miike's Dead or Alive and Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill. In September 2020, it was reported that Sega was developing a live-action adaptation for the video game with 1212 Entertainment and Wild Sheep content. Eric Barmack, Roberto Grande, and Joshua Long are set to produce. The series, which stars Ryoma Takeuchi in the lead role of Kazuma Kiryu, premiered in October 2024 on Amazon Prime Video. That is the story of Yakuza, video game. If you found this fascinating, there is far more to discover. The world is full of subjects this deep and this extraordinary. Stay curious.